Hello, this is Sarah from the Mount Airy branch of the Carroll County Public Library. Thanks for joining me for Digital Collections Bootcamp this afternoon. Today we are going to be talking about borrowing eBooks and eAudiobooks. CCPL's digital collections are available by hovering over Collections on the homepage and then clicking the link for the collection you are interested in browsing. To get started with eBooks and eAudiobooks, we will click eBooks and Digital Content, which is listed under the Digital Collections area. From here, we can scroll through a list of the available collections. For this session, we will go through the list and highlight the collections from which you can borrow eBooks and eAudiobooks. There's quite a lot to get to, so let's get started. In Maryland, we have a digital e-library consortium, which enables us to access thousands of ebooks, e-audiobooks, and even some magazines. While we'll talk about e-magazines in a different session, we are going to talk about the ebooks and e-audiobooks available from the e-library site today. The reason this section is labeled Overdrive and Libby is because you can use the Overdrive app or the Libby app to access the eLibrary site. And sometimes you'll hear staff refer to this site just by Overdrive or Libby as opposed to necessarily saying the eLibrary Consortium. So don't be confused. Overdrive or Libby are the apps we use to access the eLibrary Consortium. So let's get in there and take a look. So Marilyns digital eLibrary site, the link is right here under eBooks and Digital Collections. And we'll go ahead and click there to open up the consortium. Now the first thing we always suggest is when you open the site is to sign into your account. So you'll get a better picture of what you truly have available under your CCPL card. So like I said, the first thing we'll do is sign in. So to sign in, up here in the right hand corner, we just click sign in. As you see, there's a welcome screen. We'll select our library. I've already selected Carroll County Public Library. Here you'll enter your card number, your library barcode. That's all the numbers on the back of your library card that you have registered with CCPL, no spaces. And then you'll enter the PIN you use to access your CCPL account. This is the same one that you use to access your account online, or if you use the self-checkouts when we're in the branch, it's the same PIN you would use there. So you'll just enter your barcode, that PIN, and click sign in. I've actually already signed in on another tab, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And here I am signed in to my account. You can see my account here in the upper right hand corner. If I click my account, I can see all the information about what I have out in my account. You could take a look at your loans, so that's how many things you have borrowed, your holds. You can create a wish list, and if you want to rate titles, you can do that as well, or take a history of the items that you've checked out. Settings are one of the first things I would check when the first time you log in, especially. If you click settings, it'll take it just a second to come up, and you can see you can set the default lending period for each one of your formats. You get 21 days, just like you do for a physical book in the library, is the maximum you can have for an ebook and an e-audiobook. So the first thing I always do is make sure that my lending periods for ebooks and e-audiobooks are set to 21 days. If I'd like to keep a history of what I have out, I can select that checkbox, or I can clear it. It'll make sure that I confirm that I'd like to hide my history, and then I'll click hide to confirm that I do not want to keep a history of what I'm reading. Audience is another setting that's very useful, especially if this is a library card that perhaps is used for one of the younger people in your household, or Kindle preference. For instance, this is something I am going to check since I use a Kindle to read my ebooks. So I'll go ahead and check Kindle preference there. That basically shows me that I'm making sure that I'm checking out the right format of ebook. And I'll show you how to determine the format of your ebook when you look at book details. There's also high contrast display options for this website, and you can also turn on dyslexic font. So there we've got our settings. And if we look through my account, another thing I'd like to show you, and you can always verify, is if you click loans, it shows you not only your account limit, but how many more titles you can borrow. With the eLibrary, with the digital site, you can have a limit of 6 items borrowed and up to 6 items on hold. Right now you can see I don't have any titles checked out, and if I click holds, I don't have any holds right now. So I'm good to go. I can start with whatever I want. Now these limits of 6 items on loan or 6 items on hold are concurrent. So it can have, once I finish with one item, then I can get another one. So it's just 6 at once. There's no time period during which I can have those 6 out. It's just concurrent. So I'm going to click the title for the Digital eLibrary Consortium up here in the top to start back at home. One thing that's interesting that you'll always see on the eLibrary site is if there's a special promotion or collection that they're highlighting for the month, it'll show up here at the top. As you'll see, in April, the first Harry Potter book is available to check out with no wait. So there won't be any holds on the Harry Potter book 1. If I click see all, I can see all the different formats and languages in which book 1 is available. So be able to see here, this one's an ebook, this one's an audiobook. So we'll go back home really quick again. So when you're browsing, there's a few different ways to browse here. I can click subjects, and then I can browse a whole host of different subjects for materials that I'd like to check out. You can browse by just ebooks or just by audiobooks. So if you know you're looking for one or the other, those are some places you can start. You'll see that they have fiction or nonfiction, and then under nonfiction there's subjects as well. So there's lots of ways to find the titles that you're looking for. You can also browse for items by collection. So you'll see some special collections we have are kids and teens. And there's also a collection for available now. I'll show you how to use that. Kindle Books. So if you remember, when I set my settings, I chose Kindle Books. Basically, Kindle Books ensures that you're making sure that you're getting the right format to use with your Kindles. Here's kids and teens up here and available now. So this is something I run into and I use a lot is I know I want to read something right now or I want to listen to it right now. So by clicking available now, I can see what is available right now. If I click search, I can type a search field in here. So for instance, if I look for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I can click that series and I'll get the books in the Percy Jackson series. On the left-hand side here, if I want to see if there's any that are available now, I can click available now. Looks like right now nothing's available. That's okay. I'll click back. And in that case, I would want to go ahead and place a hold. So let's say I want to read the first book in Percy Jackson, which is going to be The Lightning Thief. I can click here. I see up here it says wait list, so I know that I can't check it out right now, but I can click to place a hold. So you'll enter the email address that you want to be notified that your hold is ready and go ahead and place a hold. When your hold comes in, you will get an email message to tell you it is time to claim your hold, and you'll need to log into your account, and the holds you have available to claim will show up there and you'll be able to claim them. And also here's the audiobook. If I want more information on this title, I want to make sure it's in a format that I can read on my Kindle, I'll hit this 3 dots here and say view details. Over here on the right hand side, this shows the formats that this book is available in. Kindle Books, so it means that I can send this to my Kindle. OverdriveLibby, that means that I can read this title in my browser. Or EPUB ebook, which is available on any other kind of e-readers. The old Nooks used to have EPUB format, as well as EPUB ebook format is compatible with both the Overdrive and Libby apps, which are what we recommend for mobile devices and smart devices to read your materials that you've checked out from the site. You can also see this is the first book in this series, and if I click series, it will show me the other books in this series as well. So we're kind of back to where we were just a minute ago. Another cool thing is if I hit search, I can click advanced. And advanced, I can get a little fancy with what I'm looking for, but sometimes you'll have specific Lexile measurements of books that you need to read. You can search based on a Lexile measure and click search, and you'll get books under that specific Lexile measure. So if you're trying to help some children or grandkids or kids that you watch at home find some titles, and you know that they need to be looking in a specific Lexile range, that's something you can do to ensure that they can find something they need. I'm going to click back to the main collection just to sort of start over and reorient myself. So let's go to available now, and let's find something. Find an audiobook we'd like to listen to. Let's just try this one. I'm going to click here. I can listen to a sample if I want. You may also that'll give me ideas of other things I might want to listen to if I end up liking this title, and view details. Or I can just click borrow right here. It'll automatically borrow this book for me for 21 days. That was the default I set, and I go ahead and click borrow. I can listen to it right now, or I can open the Overdrive or Libby app and play the audiobook from there. Same with the book. If I choose that I would like to check out this book, I click borrow. Again, it defaults to the 21 days that I set it to. Borrow. And because I defaulted my account to go with Kindle Books, I can click read now with Kindle. If I hadn't done that, I would get to choose the format that I was able to read in. So let me go back and change that setting. I'm going to go ahead and clear that Kindle preference. And we're going to go collections available now. Let me find something else to check out that's an ebook. So we'll check this one out. We'll click borrow. Borrow for 21 days. I'm going to click borrow. So it's going to ask me, do I want to read now with Kindle? So before that was defaulted because I had set that setting. Now that I've cleared it, I can do that, or I can read it right now in the browser, which was that OverdriveLibby, or I can download the book. Now let me show you what are these apps and how do I get to them. Okay, let me show you how to find them from the library's website. So I'm going to open a new tab here and go ahead and open up the library's website. Under collections, in the digital collections area, you'll see a link, download our apps. By clicking that, there's links to get me to all the different apps I will need based on the operating system or the device that I'm using. So once you've picked out your titles here in the digital e-library, you can download those apps and access the books on your device. If I go to my account and I click loans, you'll see now that the 2 books I've just borrowed, or 3, I forgot I've done 3, that the books I've just borrowed are now all available in my loans. It'll tell me I can borrow 3 more titles, so I can have 6 out at once. If I click holds, I can see I don't have any titles on hold because I didn't go through that hold, but if I had gone ahead and put in the email address and finished out that hold, I would see that hold listed here. Okay, and we'll go back to the main collection. When you're on a Wi-Fi connection, such as if you were at the library, or even now, even though the library's doors are closed, you can still access Wi-Fi from the library's parking lot. So we suggest downloading when you're on a Wi-Fi connection, and then you'll always have that if you're in the car, if you're taking a walk, if you're just at home hanging out and don't want to be connected but you'd like to read, you can download your materials. And again, Libby and Overdrive are the apps. Let me show you. The Libby app has a really cool tour from that main page, and you can go through a virtual tour and take a spin and try out the Libby app. So that's Overdrive and Libby, also known as the Marilyns Digital eLibrary. Oh, one other thing I almost forgot. Sometimes you finish books so quickly that you're done and you need to return them. On loans, I almost forgot to point out, if I was done with this book, I'd already finished it, I can click return. Yes, I would like to return that title, and then I've freed up a space. You'll see now I can borrow 4 more titles. So I would suggest you do that. After 3 weeks, the book will automatically be returned. You don't have to worry about any overdue fines. It'll be automatically returned, but if you finish it up early, it doesn't hurt to clear out a space in your loans queue if you're somebody who likes to have multiple books going at once. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is you can return early if you are done. If you want to try to renew your material 3 days before it's due, this icon that says return will change and it will say renew. You can click there. If it's able to be renewed right then, you can do so. If not, it'll tell you and it'll place you back on the hold list for that material. So again, that's Overdrive and Libby, and give it a go and let us know if you have any questions. Now we're on to Hoopla. Hoopla, again, is available from the eBooks and digital collections site. We'll scroll down a little bit, and here it is. We go ahead and click on Hoopla. Now, the first time you use Hoopla, you're going to have to set up your own username and password. Also, it's very useful to go ahead and allow Hoopla location access. The reason that's helpful is it'll help you easily identify our library system. It'll know where you are and say, oh, your closest library is Carroll County, and you say, yep. So anyway, the first time you go in, you're going to have to set up an account. The Hoopla account is not automatically tied to your library account with CCPL in the way that you can't just log on with your library card number and password to start. You need to set up an account first. So the first time you load, you'll go to sign up. Ahead and put in my work email. I don't think I've used it for this before. Agree. I don't want to save my password. So then the first thing you'll do is search for your library name. You'll see automatically it came up with Carroll County Public Library. To be able to choose my library, I'll click Carroll County Public Library. I'll click next, and then here's where I'll enter my library card. So that's my barcode number with no spaces and my PIN number. So that is the PIN number you would use when you access your account online, or if you use the self-checks at the branch. Anyway, so that's, and then I would click sign up. So that's how you would sign up. I do have my own account logged in at another window, so let's go there. So for Hoopla, one of the nicest things about Hoopla is that everything here is instantly available. There's never a wait list. The only catch is that there is a limit on the number of titles you can borrow, just like with Overdrive and Libby. The limit here is normally 6 titles that you can check out within a month, so that's within a calendar month. Right now, during the closure, we are actually able to extend that to 8 items, or 8 titles that can be checked out during the month. but keep in mind it is during the month. So you could check out, say all 8 titles today, and that would count for your April titles, and you wouldn't be able to check out any more titles until you hit May 1st. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Because of that, we do suggest people under My Hoopla that you click favorites and you set up your own favorites list. And I will show you how to designate something as a favorite. You can browse by audiobooks and eBooks, comics, or graphic novels. So those are the things we will talk about today. The movies and music and television available on Hoopla will actually be the next session of Digital Collections Bootcamp. We will be talking about streaming movies and TV next time. So if I want to browse audiobooks, I can just click here, find a title I would like to listen to. I'll listen to Lisa Jewell. I like her. I'll go ahead and click this, and I can click borrow. If I'm not ready to check it out right now, but I don't want to forget that it's here, if I click the heart, that will make this a favorite for me. And that's a really good way to sort of save your checkouts, but also not lose track of the titles that you're interested in. If I did want to borrow it right now, I could click borrow. This will be available for 21 days. I'll hit borrow title, and there I go. So it'll give me information on the bottom, how long I've got this through May 19th. And it tells me that I can stream it here, or I can use offline viewing using the Hoopla app. If I want to return it early, I can return it early. Items have different lending periods here. Audiobooks and eBooks check out for 3 weeks. So do the comics. The differences are going to come in when we go into the movies and television and music. So in our next session, we'll talk about the limits on those. If I want to see what I've currently borrowed, go to My Hoopla, currently borrowed. It'll tell me when it returns. And if I hit play, I can begin to play it right here in the browser. If I wanted to use the app, I could do that as well. You can also keep a history of what you have checked out. There's a special kids section for Hoopla. And so I'll go back to Hoopla. Again, here's the main page. They do a lot of cool collections every once in a while that are highlighted at the top. Here's media tie-ins, British dramas, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So audiobooks you've been meaning to listen to. And again, everything's instantly available. The biggest thing to keep in mind is just how many checkouts you have for that month. Let me show you under Browse Comics. So this is where you can check out, there's a wide variety of graphic novels available here. Garfield, always a popular title. If I wanted to click out and check out Garfield, I could click there and hit borrow, or I'm going to hit the heart there and add that to my favorites because I don't want to forget that there is the Garfield title available here. So if I came back at another time and I went to my Hoopla favorites, I would see, oh, okay, well, Jim Henson is one of my favorites. But Garfield, here's Garfield here. I'll click here, and this time I want to borrow it. So again, that's available for 21 days. I go ahead and borrow. Gives me a little bit of an icon menu of how to get started. So I'll click read, and here we go. Click here to get out and hit exit reader. So that's Hoopla. Some content can be downloaded. It depends on the actual item itself, the specific material. Some content has to stream. And again, there is an app available for Hoopla. To get to that app from our website, you would go to the main library website. Under Collections, in the Digital Collections area, click Download Our Apps. And here are the Hoopla apps, and you'll see they've got them displayed for the different types of devices or operating system that you are using. To the book clouds. Technically, it's not their name. They're a couple separate collections, but they're pretty similar and they both have book cloud in the title. So I've decided to group them together, and I've just been calling them as a group the book clouds. Anyway, let's get started. So under eBooks and digital collections, we'll scroll down a bit and then you'll see Romance Book Cloud and Audiobook Cloud. These are the two collections we're going to be focusing on next for finding ebooks and e-audiobooks. I would like to point out that if you scroll a little farther down, there's Tumble Book Library, Tumble Math, and Teen Book Cloud. All three of those are very similar to how this next two selections are going to function, but they're a little more YA and children's focused, and we're going to focus on the adult side of things today. So I'm not going to go over those in too much detail, but once you get a hang on Romance Book Cloud and Audiobook Cloud, these should be fairly easy to pick up. They're not too much different. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with Romance Book Cloud. To access Romance Book Cloud, we just click this link. And you'll see I've already got it open here in another tab. So I'm going to take that one back real quick. Okay, so some of the nice things about both Romance Book Cloud and Audiobook Cloud are that there's no waiting, there's no holds that you need to worry about, and there's no limits on what you can check out. The biggest difference is that the content in the book clouds in both Romance Book Cloud and Audiobook Cloud is not downloadable. You play and read directly through your browser. Also, you can set up favorites. So if you'll see here under Romance Book Cloud, my favorites, and I'll show you how to get to that on Audiobook Cloud as well. You can also set bookmarks, so as you're reading, you can keep track of where you are. So let's take a little bit closer look at Romance Book Cloud. As you can see, there's a whole selection of romance titles that you can choose from. Let's say I want to read this first one, Captured by Chocolate. All I need to do is scroll down, just click on that. It'll give a little bit of details about the author and the book. So here's information about the author, here's the publisher, and here's the series. So if you're someone who likes to read books in a series, this can give you more information of all the titles in the series. So for instance, if I click series Love at the Chocolate Shop, then I can get a list of all the books in the series that are available in Romance Book Cloud. But let's go back to Captured by Chocolate. So let's say that I'd like to read this right now. I can click Read Online, and in doing so, it'll give me a little bit of an overview of how to use the browser reading tool the best way. And then I can just click through. I'm using my arrow keys here to click through. And here, voila, here we go. And that opens in a new tab. So when you're done, you can just click close to close that tab. If you'd like to add it to your favorites, you can click right there, add it to your favorites. You get a successful completion here and click OK. And then, even if I go back to the home button of Romance Book Cloud, if I click my favorites, there it is. Here's a couple favorites that I'd like to check out. If I want to remove something from my favorites, I just click remove, and it will take that title away from the favorites. Now the favorites are stored just for that browser. So keep that in mind, that when you're looking through materials, it's probably, just the favorites for that browser. So if you borrow or use your browser with somebody else, if you share the browser, they could potentially get rid of some of those favorites. So just keep that in mind. If you'd like, there's an index. You can look up by title and author. Again, and then there's categories. So coming soon, contemporary, historical, inspirational. Let's click inspirational. You can see all the different titles you have available here. If you say view by title, then you can instantly click to add favorites while you're getting a little bit more of the book details. So that's Romance Book Cloud. Again, no worry about having to log in. When you come from the library's website, you are automatically logged in and can immediately use the content. There's no holds. Everything is instantly available. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that you just need to read it in the browser. Okay, so along a similar line, we're going to talk about Audiobook Cloud. And if you'll remember, That was just listed right below Romance Book Cloud right here. So we click to open Audiobook Cloud. And much like before, here's a look at Audiobook Cloud. Now these are all audiobooks, but you'll see you can also set up favorites and it looks quite similar. So the first thing I like to do, because I like to see the details of the titles that I'm looking at, I usually view by detail. I like that for a couple different reasons. Like Romance Book Cloud, viewing by detail allows me to automatically add things to my favorites. And this also enables you to submit a book review. The nice thing here is there's 2 different levels of materials. So if I want to check out some classics and then plays and drama, I'll get a list of the different plays that are available. You'll see there's a lot of Shakespeare on there. If you have someone who's going through a Shakespeare class, or they're in high school or middle school even, I'm not sure how early they read Shakespeare anymore, but you'll see that you can access Shakespeare plays from here. Again, if I click View by Detail, I can add some of these right to my favorites. So King Lear, that's actually one of my favorite plays. I'm going to click Add to Favorites, and I'll see that it's been added to my favorites list. Again, if I go back to my favorites, here is my favorite. If I click here on King Lear, I can automatically begin to listen to it in the browser. And just like with Audiobook Cloud, this opens in a new browser. You'll see by clicking Show Hide, I can view the different tracks, and you can also set a bookmark as you go. To begin playing, I just click play, and then if I would like to stop, I hit stop, and next we'll go to the next track. You can also change the text size, so if that first size is a little small, you can toggle the text size back and forth. And again, just like with Romance Book Cloud, this material is instantly available. There's no need to put anything on hold. The biggest catch is you just have to make sure you're reading in your browser, and remember that your favorites are going to be stored for that browser. So if you have someone else using your browser as well, just keep in mind they could accidentally remove a favorite of yours, or they could add something you didn't even know was there that might be interesting. So there's quite a few different major genres and then subgenres within there. So for instance, there is also children and YA books in here. There's new books. So if I click new books, I can see the new books available right here from Audiobook Cloud. And I'll go ahead and go back home. So again, that's Audiobook Cloud, and we did also Romance Book Cloud. Those are the 2 book clouds. Those are some of our newest collections that we have here at CCPL, and feel free to check them out.